was an outspoken Yorkshire woman, but she was a love.
She was a fun lady. I think all of life was fun to Mollie.
Just a delightful person to be with. And that was the Mollie Sugden that I knew way before she became an icon.
The Mollie family came first. Had it been a choice between family and career, it would have been family.
Mummy, this is Carol. Carol, Mummy. How do? How do?
There were no pretensions. There were no dark secrets. She was just a joy. You'd have loved.
Coronation Street has played host to many stars, all eager to make a guest appearance and be a part of television's national treasure.
I'm a veritable pussycat these days, man.
But for jobbing actress Mollie Sugden, Corrie was merely a stepping stone to global stardom.
Hello, Anne. Oh, you...
Coronation Street was in fact just up the road from where Mollie's story begins. Born Isabel Mary Sugden in Keighley, Yorkshire in 1922, Mollie's parents had met at a mill where William Sugden was an accountant and Mary Shackleton worked the looms.
He noticed her whenever he was giving out the payment, and he noticed her by the fact she had the shiniest clogs.
Mollie had a brother who was 15 years older than herself, so in many senses she was probably an only child and amused herself a lot.
She also amused other people. Mollie found her future calling at a very young age.
There's a tale of her at some church show,
probably the age of about 5 or 6, and everybody was in hysterics listening to her.
She always retells being immediately swept up in it.
And I think she suddenly realised that this was a tremendous gift to be able to entertain people. And I think from that day onwards, she always knew she was going to go on the stage.
But with the outbreak of World War II, Mollie went to work in a munitions factory and her career plans were put on hold. When she was made redundant in 1944, Mollie found herself free to pursue her dream, so she left Yorkshire for London to train at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. After graduation, she played in repertory theatre for the next 8 years.
I'd never been a character juvenile. I just sort of did any part that was going, and some I did better than others. And I always liked comedy best. But really, the parts I played were always sort of in the 30 to 40 mark. I mean, when I was in my 20s, oh, crumbs, I can remember playing a woman of 40. And I put so many lines on my face. Now I'm taking them off.
She has some very, very fond memories of rep, in particular in Swansea. And I think she had a couple of those sort of golden summers you get when the weather's good, you're doing what you love, and it's all going well. I think at the time she was probably poor as a church mouse, but it was tremendous fun. And I know that that's where she met my father.
Mollie was 33 when she met fellow actor Bill Moore in 1956. They married 2 years later.
Mollie absolutely adored Bill, and he adored her. And I think the big basis of their relationship was their humour. They made each other laugh. What they said to each other would always have a lovely wry fun about it.
I think after Mum and Dad got married, they very much just carried on with their careers, hoping for children, but obviously by then both of them were a little bit older.
Mollie was 41 when we were born, and Dad was 47. So quite late in life, really.
5 years after Mollie married Bill, twins Robin and Simon were born in October 1963.
I know that they always looked at it as a bonus that it was twins, because at that stage of life, probably only one go.
It was such a wonderful gift to her. She just couldn't believe they were hers, and they had such joy with their boys.
From a very early age, I called them Mollie and Bill, and I think they preferred that. Our relationship with them was not a normal parental one, because they had a lot more life experience. They made the time, and they really did focus on us.
There were lots of stories, I mean, they were quite naughty. They had a spark. And Mollie loved this.
While Mollie balanced being mum to the twins with a career that was starting to include television roles,
Yes, where's that plum at? He's inside. Well, he better come out again.
Bill landed the part of Sergeant Cyril Turpin in Coronation Street.
Well, you see, Sergeant... Sergeant Cyril?
Oh, yeah, you're off duty, Cyril.
I'm never off duty, Hilda, never.
Which opened the door for Mollie to appear as Annie Walker's rival pub landlady, Nellie Harvey.
Bye-bye, Jackie. Stay as sweet as you are.
There was a lot of the Old Pals Act in the early days of Coronation Street. At the time, I had helped to set up the casting department, including the casting director. So it wasn't very difficult for me to get anybody in those days.
You'd do anything to avoid the publicity. Anything. Don't think I'm daft.
She came in to play opposite Annie Walker. Annie Walker was such a strong character and an already well-established icon that it needed someone of equal strength but different. And Mollie was that to perfection. Their rivalry was one of the classic Coronation Street pairings.
Do have another piece of Battenberg, Nellie. I know you've never succumbed to this modern fad of Weight watching.
Oh, well, a little of what you fancy.
Mollie's performance was so popular, Nellie Harvey became a returning character over 11
If
years.
she put herself out half as much as she pulls herself in, she'd be a raging success.
Her role in Coronation Street certainly allowed her to show her impeccable comedy timing. She made the character even larger than life, and yet retained at the same time the strength and authority. That shows what a good actress she was.
Hey, I like you that.
Oh, and you do get some characters in here.
Mollie's timing was perfect in every sense. The 1970s was the golden age of sitcom, and her comedic talents were suddenly very much in demand.
You're not really supposed to smoke in here, you know.
It's for me nerves.
Yes, I know, but it's not very good for your lungs.
Oh, I know. I worry something dreadful about my lungs. That makes me nervous, and that's why I smoke.
I clearly remember when Mum got the part in Live Birds and how excited she was.
Sandra de Hello, Mrs. Hutchinson. You're just in time for some porridge.
You know, it was the first show that Mum was in that I really remember. And I think that really was a turning point. And it certainly, although my Mum had been on television, it launched her career in the public eye.
Hello, Mummy. Sorry, I was on the phone.
We used to be, you know, quite naughty at times, you know. Those hats she wore in the Live Birds were just... She walked in and you had to do a scene, and I'm trying not to look at this stupid hat.
I wear large, expensive hats. And it would be very nice if I could enter this flat without hearing, "Mind your hat on the door, Mrs. Hutch. And here she comes, the galloping garden."
Mollie was brilliant about keeping a straight face, and I wasn't.
She loved the Live Birds, yes. And it was great casting because she was dead right for it, you know.
Mollie's stock in trade was to have this ability to be quite raucous and then on the top be frightfully genteel. And she was very funny and very good at that.
The tiles are a strange colour, aren't they?
The tiles are yellow, love. That's grease.
Mollie wasn't like the character on screen at all. She couldn't have been more down to earth.
The slightly snobbish elements of her characters are something that I think she enjoyed sending up because she genuinely disapproved of snobbery.
The occupiers of this house are unanimous
Oh, be quiet! Or shut your gob. Or whatever it is people in this house say when they're pleading for silence. Go on, darling.
Mollie was always quite protective of me. And when I was younger, I was quite curvaceous. I remember we were both doing a personal appearance in a football ground, and both done up with our smart suits and handbags. And as we were going towards the middle of the football ground, a man got hold of my breasts. And Mollie was so angry. She had a really big, heavy handbag, and she whacked this man right on the head.
The work just came in for Mollie. You didn't have to go and look for more work for Mollie. You know, I turned down more work than she did. You know, there was never... It was the same with Bill. You see, they were both bloody good actors.
At different times, Dad was more successful or Mum was more successful. And certainly when I was sort of in primary school, my father was probably that little bit more successful.
I think there were times Mollie felt Bill didn't perhaps get the recognition as an actor. Mollie would take as much pride, if not more, in Bill's achievements as she did in her own.
There was sort of no envy, and they were happy to swap roles as work dictated.